Okay, hey folks, I'm going to show you how I am building a much stronger frame for the windshield on the Searey. The original frame is on a tube about this big, and I'm going to go to a tube this big. This is a 1/2 inch tube, this is a 3/4 inch tube, and there's a huge difference in strength. This one I can bend easily with my hands, and you cannot bend this one easily with your hands. It takes a lot of work. The difference in weight is negligible, and the strength is gigantic. The issue is, how do you get it bent the shape you want? So what I do is, you buy a 7-foot, it ended up being an 8-foot, by 3/4 inch tube of the same diameter, same thickness as the other tube, which is about 1/8 of an inch. And then you mark it, you cut it to 76 inches, and then you mark it in the center, which is 38 inches, with a black magic marker. And this mold is has got a black magic marker on it too. So you put the markers together so it's in the center, and you get somebody to pin that, and you grab these two ends, either two people, getting two people to do that is much easier, so you have one person pin it. Then you simultaneously slowly bring it down to here. This mold has an inner shape this way, and it bends it into this shape. Okay, so then you get an arch. And then after you have the arch, you need to bend the two legs. And you bend the two legs with this right here. This is a normal plumber's pipe bender. And this fits perfectly for a 3/4 inch pipe. And what you do is, after you got it bent, you measure 30.5. Actually, you can measure this. It's easier to measure it before you bend it. 30.5 from center, which is the top of this point, all right? And you mark it with a magic marker. And you put it in here. You lay this on the floor, and you put this in here so that the little arrow on here hits that mark. And then you have your partner stand on this end, and you bend it up until past the 10-degree mark, until just before the 22-degree mark. It'll be just below the 22-degree mark, and this pipe will be almost vertical. And you go back on this side, have your partner stand on this side and do the same thing, and you end up with the perfect windshield mold. Now I can show you in another video how to make this mold. It's a single piece of plywood and about 4 screws. All you need is a bandsaw or a jigsaw. It's very easy to make, and it's taken me a little bit of trial and error to get the shape right, because this piece is very springy, and so you actually have to bend it a little bit beyond what you ultimately want, because it springs back. One of the things you want to remember when you're bending this is, take the end of the tube, cover it with tape, fill the other end with, fill this whole tube up with sand, because that helps prevent it from kinking when you're bending it. And then tape the other end. So this thing is full of sand. Then do your bend, and do your secondary bends at the ends, and take the tape off and pour out the sand. This is a sample piece to get my angle right. That's your 22 degrees. And really the only trick after that is that these ends are too big for the standard piece that the Searey uses to anchor this at this end. So what you do is you take about 3 inches, 2 inches of the original windshield frame, and you cut it off and you slide that inside, and then you pop a rivet through there, so that now what you've got is a smaller diameter in here, and this piece, the original piece, fits perfectly. So if you feel like putting some linseed oil on the inside of this before you slide it in, and rivet it so you don't get any corrosion in there, that's a great idea. It's not necessary. But I can tell you, I've got this frame on my plane, and I've had it for a couple of years, and when I see somebody else reaching for the windshield frame to pull themselves out of the airplane, the other pilots panic. I don't. Mine is strong. Mine's very strong. And I think if I take a bird strike, it's a big safety feature. Also, when I did mine, and I'm presuming this came out exactly the same, when I did mine, the windshield conformed to this frame so cleanly that I don't have to rivet it here. It is so strong against this that there's no rivets on my frame at all. So I've got less places for the crazing, for the cracking to start on the windshield. I also have a different method for anchoring the windshield here because a lot of people will notice it, that they actually start getting hairline cracks on their plexiglass at this pivot point. And I have a better way to anchor it into the airframe, and I'll show you that in a different video too. Thank you.